Ends. Welcome to the Flamingo Files, where each month we question authors about their new releases and dissect their alibis. Your host is Traci Hall, USA Today bestselling author of Cozy Tales of Murder. Co-hosting is me, New York Times author Lisa Black, author of the Gardiner and Renner series of forensic suspense. The Flamingo Files is sponsored by the Florida chapter of Mystery Writers of America. And for this, our inaugural episode, we'll be asking Nancy Cohen if a hairbrush can really be cursed. And then host Traci will take a turn as guest because a Halloween party in Scotland leaves guests a lot more to fear than bad candy. Now, their full bios and links are in the show notes, so refer to that. And we're just going to jump straight into it. So welcome, Nancy. Tell us about Dreidels and Dead Ends.
Dreidels and Dead Ends takes place during the holiday season, and Marla is my hairstylist sleuth who gets involved when there's a heist at the local history museum of a heirloom hairbrush that comes with a legendary curse. The curator is her friend and begs for her help in recovering this artifact before the curse spreads throughout the entire town. And of course, bad things do start happening. So Marla, in the midst of her holiday preparations, sets out to solve the crime.
And this hairbrush, not coincidentally, is studded with tons of diamonds, right?
Yes. So they don't really know if the thief stole it to pry out and sell the diamonds, or maybe to raise the value of the hairbrush as an antique. It could even be that the owner stole it himself. So there's lots of suspects to go around.
Who doesn't want that hairbrush?
So I have some questions. First one is a silly one. I love the mention of Robert the Doll. The haunted Key West doll. Do you go to Key West a lot?
I did when they had the Key West Mystery Fest down there, which was a great conference. And I visited that museum. I saw Robert the Doll. I was very respectful. I mean, the stories are quite interesting. So you just don't want to take any chances and be nice to Robert there. So even now, I would like him to know I highly respect him. You just never know.
So how did you research the history of hairbrushes? How did you go about that?
Oh, online. I did most of that research. The hairbrushes that date back really to the early cavemen days. They used to have combs made out of bones and things, and combed their hair initially, and then when hairstyles got fancier, they needed to move to hairbrushes, which were made from animal bristles, and handles then were made out of wood or other natural materials. And then the various inventions came along, which I explain in the story because the curator wants Marla to give a last-minute talk on this subject at the museum when their initial speaker canceled. And Marla is at the gala just finishing her speech when bad things happen.
Dun, dun, dun.
I was interested to learn that vintage is 1900 to the 1960s and retro is 1960s to 1990s. I don't know anything about fashion, so that was like, I've always heard those terms and I didn't realize they had actual definitions.
Yeah, I learned that, plus the difference between antiques and antiquities, which I hadn't known before. So the antiquities date back thousands of years, but antiques have to be at least 100 years old. So learning these distinctions was interesting.
That is interesting. Wow. But I have to ask, can you really cut hair? Did you work as a hairstylist?
I have no talent in that regard whatsoever. You can tell when you look at my hair normally without the headphones on, but I greatly admire hairstylists. They have a talent that I will never possess. And it's a great situation to hear gossip and confide in people and meet people around town. So it serves its purpose in that respect.
That's true. That's a really good setup for a sleuth. And now I really want to try your cola brisket recipe.
Ah,
That
it's
sounded
very good.
good. I've never made
Mm.
brisket in my life, and actually the few
Oh,
times I've had it, I wasn't terribly impressed, but I'm like, that sounds good. I think
I
I'll
love
make
easy to
food. I'm
make
a
and
foodie.
tender.
Bring on the food.
Okay, I have some more questions for both of you later, but let's now go to Traci and get the rundown on Murder at a Scottish Halloween.
Okay. For those of you who don't know about the Scottish Shire series, Paisley Shaw is a single mom and she chose to have Brody without the benefit of marriage or having a family, a husband. And that kind of caused some pushback in her little shire, including from her mom. And so she was luckily her gran was a wonderful mentor to her and kind of took her in and said, taught her how to knit and said, listen, hold your head up and this is how you could create a business. And she was very supportive of putting Paisley in the direction of Cashmere Crush, which is her knitting shop that she has. Um, Unfortunately, now Gran, at the story that we are now, Gran has died. We have Wallace is their Scottish Terrier, and he's really cute. Everyone loves Wallace. Um, and when we start with the murder at the Scottish Halloween, Brody is now 13. And every decision that Paisley has made has always been about making sure that Brody is a good person. And so that's something that throughout every story, I always have to make sure that the lens is through her love for and her caring for Brody. And so she's got her best friend, Lydia, who is like a fairy godmother. She's got Grandpa now in her life, and she has Max Zephyr, which is kind of a love interest that is understands where Paisley is and on the same page if she's not going to put anyone first except for Brody. Brody is front and center. Um, so now he's 13, and for the first time, he doesn't want to dress up and he doesn't want to do any of the Halloween things, but he wants to go to the ice rink with his kind of girlfriend, Emma, and his best kind of football mates. And they are Brody has dreams of being a star footballer, and he's actually very good. And Paisley knows that Brody is a good kid. And so she trusts him to go on this kind of new adventure. And then when she picks him up a couple of hours later, he is white as a ghost. He is shaking, he is trembling, he is like suffering some kind of trauma. And she's not budging the car until he tells her what's going on. And so after some prodding, he kind of admits that he was dared by his football mates to go up to the Wraith ruins and get video of the handless wraith of Wraith ruins. And she's A, shocked that he left the ice rink without, telling her, and B, also this is All Hallows Eve, and it's the one night of the year that the handless wraith can come to life and kill you. And the handless wraith is angry because hundreds of years ago, when the clans were still kind of battling for who would have control over that area, the one clan, her dad was the clan leader, and he had was hosting like a dinner of peace. And a dinner of peace, you don't bring your weapons. And so the daughter was kind of in love or having a fling with the opposite clan member. And so she told him what was going to happen. And so when the dinner happened, it was slaughter and everyone was pretty much dead. And so dad chased the daughter up to the top of the tower. She jumped out hanging on by the windowsill and dad cut her hands off. So she's angry. And that but that's kind of where the story starts. And when Paisley's listening to this, Brody finally admits that he dropped his phone by the ruins. And so they have to go back and pick up this phone. And when they get there, Paisley does see a body in white, but it turns out to be the sister of one of the footballers who had kind of arranged this prank. And of course, so Paisley's going to step in and make sure that Brody's hurt or Brody is, safe, but also find out what happened to this poor girl. So that's the setup.
About the only thing a teenager would risk encountering a ghost for is his phone.
Yeah.
Murderous ghost phone, it's not even fun.
It's not at all.
So what is your connection with Scotland? You're obviously very familiar with the accent and the politics, both current and historical. Do you have a family connection to Scotland?
Well, my grandmother, Gigi, God rest her soul, she told us that we were related to the Queen of England. And of course, we all thought she was full of baloney. And but then when the, ancestry came out, my son did the ancestry. He actually was able to trace us to Scotland and the Queen of England. So she was right after all that time.
Oh. So are Halloween traditions there different than in the US?
It's called guising. I don't know that. I mean, I think they still kind of do the same thing. It's very similar. It kind of all it stems from, the Celtic Samhain traditions of, All Hallows Eve. And it was really hard actually to pick just one castle because Scotland is full of, haunted castles. But
And this event threatens her son, Brody. Do you have children? Do you base Brody on any of their characteristics? And if so, how do they feel about that?
Actually, I love kids. I have two kids, and I have my son. My son Brighton he just is a biologist now, and he's in Spokane, Washington. And my daughter Destiny was in the Navy for like 12 years, and she is now actually going back to school. I hope that she is actually going to be a hairdresser, Nancy, because she's good.
Good.
And I have my granddaughter from Destiny is named Kennedy, and she's 8. And then Brighton and Cece just had a little girl named Isabella on June 3rd. So I can't wait to go see them. And I love kids, and I worked in the school district, so I liked the kids with personality, which usually meant that they were a little in trouble.
Well, I did not have children, and I avoid children with personality.
You don't want any personality. I'll take a kid that sits in the corner and reads.
You keep it to yourself. Go back here. That's why I foster kittens, I like having grandchildren without having children. Because, once I start to remember how much work they are, then it's time for them to go back, and cute, and, then I'm done. So both of you write cozies, and as a characteristic of cozies, you've created this town populated, with your own characters. So how do you keep them all straight, and the geography of your area and your characters and their relations to each other and their history? You both must have systems for doing that. So Nancy, how do you do it?
I have a running file called continuing characters. So each character that reappears, my recurrent characters with their ages, their birthdays, at each story, I move from book to book. So that's my continuing cast. The people who become the friends and family of Marla and in Dreidels and Dead Ends. Marla at this point is just reached 40. She's married. Took a lot of books to get her married. And she has a toddler son, and she's pregnant with her second child. So they all have to factor into this, plus the other relatives, Marla's friends. So that's a separate file from the suspects. Each book will have its own cast of suspects. And again, you write down the physical characteristics, perhaps what their goals are, and these people, usually that situation's resolved by the end of the book. That's how I do it. No big fancy charts or programs or anything.
I don't use Scrivener either. I tried to use Scrivener, but it was too structured. It was just too structured for my brain. And I hate to break this kind of to you guys, but this is, I use these little things. I just use Irish Castle series. There's like full of notes. I have a little map that has my stuff on it.
Oh, yeah.
I do stuff like that too. Yeah.
But I think it just helps cement it in my brain, and then like Nancy was saying, like they become like family. And so you just know. Like my Charlene would not ever interfere in Paisley's world just because she doesn't belong there. And thank God for those. Also, what are those? The style sheets that they send you from the publisher. Those have saved me quite a few times.
Sure. Yeah, I have to. Just a weird little curiosity of mine is, how do you choose names for your characters? You both have unusual names, in your books. So are these just names you like? Do you have some sort of system? How do
For
you
me,
do
it's random. I just try not to repeat names or have too many names beginning with the same letter.
that?
Oh yeah, everybody should be David or Danny or Daniela, Denise. Yeah. That's something that I have to really kind of be careful of too. And because there's so many different of the series, I tried to make sure that for mine that they would be Scottish names. And so that's just, simple enough to go to the Scottish website and look at the girl names and boy names. And then for my Salem ones, that was kind of more, it's just going to be just regular, just American names. But for the Cider Falls series that's coming out again, I wanted the siblings to all have apple names because I thought that was cute and clever. And it was kind of a pain in the butt because there's really not that many nice male apple names, like Brayburn. Who wants to be called Brayburn?
Yeah.
Not me.
Macintosh, that'd be okay.
Well, that's Mackie. Mackie is my heroine. She's my star, Mackie Smith.
Well, with me, it's like they either pop into my head or instantly, or if I'm stuck, then I'll figure out roughly how old they are, about when they would have been born. Go to SSA.gov, Social Security Administration. They have baby names for like every decade, every year, going back and forth, and
that's really smart, Lisa.
Pull that up and pick one off of those.
That's really smart.
Because you my own devices, I do tend to like reuse this. I use Rachel. I've had a Rachel, I think, every series. Jenna, Brandon, Jack.
Jack's great. I've got a couple Jacks.
Yeah.
And now Jack's actually popular again. So I don't know. We can keep our Jack.
So we're almost out of time here, but to wind up our podcast, we're going to have a little feature called Who's Familiar with the Florida Man? Florida Man is an internet meme first popularized in 2013, referring to an alleged prevalence of people performing irrational, ridiculous, and maniacal actions in the U.S. state of Florida, which we all know very well. We live every day. The catch is these new headlines is that they're all supposed to be read as if all these incidents were done by one and only man, dubbed the world's worst superhero. And we all know Tim Dorsey and Carl Hiaasen have used this as, fun stereotype as it's Darwinism at play. So can Floridians really be that outside the box? Well, there's several factors. The Sunshine State laws allow for mugshots and arrests to be reported right away, which is right for the scrolling journalist. We are a very large state with a very demographic. And in my opinion, it's the heat. It makes everybody crazy.
It's the heat.
Yeah.
Okay, for our purposes, this is all meant in good fun. So let's wind up with some Florida trivia, 2 truths and a lie, Florida man style. We will let our guests figure out which one is the lie, which headline is actually made up. No hints. So the 3 are: 1, a man attempting to flee police cartwheeled away from officers before being successfully apprehended. 2, a man attacked by squirrel while attempting selfie. 3, a Florida woman ate 24 goldfish from a local aquarium. So, which one do you think is the lie, Nancy?
Number 1, I would put. The others sound far out, so they're probably true.
Well,
That's my guess anyway.
yeah. Well, Traci can't participate because she researched this. So
I know.
Okay.
It was
tell
so
us which
fun.
one was a lie. I think it was it was number 3, wasn't it?
It was number 3. Number 3 is the one that was a lie.
Okay.
So a man did actually cartwheel away from officers. And every time I read that, I think of a case here in Cape Coral when I was working for the police department, and an officer was telling me that he like had to apprehend some guy who was on like one of those motorized wheelchairs. And so he had to chase this guy on a motorized, and all I could think of was like the Minion movie with Dr. whatever.
I loved that movie.
And his
Did you
little
see that, Nancy?
motorized.
You know you did.
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, with your
Oh,
grandkids,
yeah.
you will. Yeah.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
will.
you probably will.
Oh my
So,
gosh, that's perfect. Yeah.
to our listeners, if you want a chance to be randomly selected to win a book by our guests, send your snail mail address or a request for an ebook to the email address on our YouTube channel. And while you're there, subscribe.
Yeah.
And the contest closes June 20th of 2026. And that is it for our very first podcast. This has been so much fun. Thank you to our guest authors. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
And
glad that
join us July 15th to hear from Elaine Viets with her new book, Beach Blonde Betrayal, and Neil Plaxey with his new book, Dog of Secrets.